Hey guys, this will be a quick video. I just want to share this with you. This came out from the CFPB. It says February. I actually just saw it today, so either I missed it or maybe it came out late yesterday. But it has to do with the medical debt, particularly on your credit reports. And this is a pretty lengthy thing. You can see it's about 54 pages long here. And I just want to show you really the table of contents and the executive summary. I'll put a link to this in a comment and then you can read this yourself. And if there's interest, I'm happy to go through this in more detail, but I didn't want to make this like a 3-hour video here. Just want to kind of give you the highlights. So they have executive summary, introduction, then they kind of talk to you about what's the lay of the land here, this medical debt, and then how does this affect people? How did COVID affect it? And then what are the laws that are out there? Could be your local state law, could be federal law, could be even things the CFPB does, okay? So we'll just take a quick look at this executive summary. So look at this, $88 billion in medical debt on credit reports. Now, not all medical debt will be on credit reports, so it's gonna be a whole lot more than that, but June of 21, $88 billion. Now we'll see something else in a moment that'll give us an idea of just how common this is. So then they say, look, most medical debt, trade lines, that's what we call accounts on credit reports, trade lines on consumer credit reports are under $500. Then look at this. 58% of all third-party debt collection trade lines were for medical debt. So if there's a third-party debt collector, 58%. I mean, it's getting, kind of between halfway and 2/3, right? It's getting awful close. 58% is for medical debt. 15% is telecommunications debt. That's going to be your cable company, internet company, cell phone provider. And we did a video, it's probably 2 videos back, where what do you do when you have a collection account on your credit report? And in that video, it's from our weekly webinar. I said, we're not going to talk about debt buyers, these companies that claim to have bought debt like Portfolio Recovery, Midland Funding, LVNV Funding. We're just talking about collection. And what I said in there is that most collection accounts are going to be medical debt and telecommunication. It's very rare to see a collection account that's for a credit card that is not a supposed debt buyer, okay? It happens, but it's pretty rare. And this is some confirmation, at least as of 2021, you got 58% plus 15, so 73% of all third-party debt collection is medical and telecommunications. So obviously the biggest thing is medical debt. And I found this, and then I had a phone call with a client, and it was all about medical debt and medical collection. So, I mean, this is what people are dealing with. And if you're watching this video, you're probably dealing with it, or you have clients or customers that are dealing with it. So let's go on with what the CFPB says. So it lowers your credit scores. Obviously, it makes it harder to get credit, can even be harder to find a job or a home. And they point out, it's one thing if you default on your credit card, your car loan, your mortgage. The whole idea of credit score is to figure out risk. Well, if I'm not paying on half a dozen credit cards and not paying my mortgage, not paying my car loan, my student loan, that does give an indication that maybe I'm at risk of not paying the loan that you're about to give me. But medical debt collection is less predictive of future payment problems. And part of that is that, you may go to the emergency room and you've paid everything, and 2 years later you get a collection and it's some doctor or medical group you've never heard of. They never reached out to you. Maybe it's too late now to turn it in on insurance. And so it's a very frustrating process. They point out Black, Hispanic people, young adults, low income are more likely to have medical debt than the national average. Now, there can be all sorts of reasons for that, but they're just pointing out that different groups of people, older adults, veterans, heavily impacted by medical debt. We see more of this in the Southeast, the Southwest, as opposed to like Chicago or New York. And then they say, look, medical debt, unpredictable, varies based on patient, provider characteristics. And you might have an uninsured person or out-of-network person, and man, they just jack up the price on them. if you come in with, so I'm in Alabama, you come in Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama, they might say, oh, well, for an x-ray, the usual customer and reasonable price of that is, I'm just making this up, $700. But if you come in to pay cash, they go, oh, that's $4,000. Well, see, that's crazy. And so that's really what they're doing with this report, is saying, let's figure out the scope of the problem, how bad the problem is, and then what are some solutions, and maybe even should medical debt be reported at all on collection accounts. And I may have skipped over this part. Yeah, I didn't highlight this. Let me highlight this now. So some of the newer credit scoring models, so 90% FICO, and then you'll have Vantage scoring models. Some of those will either not count medical debt or give it very little weight. But there are still a lot of companies using older scoring models that absolutely give it as much weight to a $50 medical collection debt as anything else. And that may have nothing to do with your ability, willingness, and reliability in paying. I've seen people with just a small dollar amount medical debt that may drop them 80 points on their score. It could be a huge difference. And sometimes those companies won't delete the account. And even a paid medical debt can be very, very damaging to you. Not so much on the newer scoring models, but definitely the older scoring models that are still widely used. So I encourage you, if you're interested in this, take a look. I mean, it's got all sorts of data, it's got analysis, it's got, all sorts of very useful things in here. And there should be a link, or you can just Google this, CFPB, medical debt burden in the United States. And if you guys want me to go into this in more detail, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, just want to give you this kind of quick video. Take a look at it, and then we'll catch you in the next video. Okay, guys, have a good one. Bye-bye.